Hello and welcome to Life in DNA with Amanda Renee. I'm Amanda. Today's episode is going to be about the planner that I did pick to use for homeschooling this year and the one I have for my daughter to use. She's in high school. But yeah. And if you like this video, if you're watching on YouTube, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more. Also, coming up very soon will be my book clubs going on Patreon. One is the high school literature book club that I'll be doing with my daughter, and we'll be going through the book she's going to read for school, and it's $5 a month, and we'll have a reading list. You can read along with us. This first go around, I'm going to be reading The Count of Monte Cristo, which is one of my favorites. And we'll have a monthly podcast with my daughter and I talking about the book, what we've read. There'll be a chat that you'll be able to chat with us also and put in questions, comments, things like that. The second one I've decided to change a little bit. I was going to do one on history because I read a lot of history books, but I've also been wanting to get back into reading my Bible and stuff, and it won't necessarily be a Bible study, but I have some books that I go back to that they always pull me back into that mindset of being close to God, being who I know He wants me to be. And so I'm going to call that one the Studious Wives Book Club, and I hope you join me. That one is going to be bi-weekly. I'll have bi-weekly videos and go kind of in depth with the books, and so that'll be $10 a month, but you'll get a reading list and things like that. I want to go through a couple of books about being a good godly wife first. Every year, ever since I found one of the books, I have gone back to it sometimes twice a year, but definitely once a year. I kind of go through it. I don't always make it all the way through the book, so this doing this book club will help keep me accountable and on track. And that book really, really helped me. But I think the one I'm going to do first is The Empowered Wife by Laura Doyle. Now, I read this one, the ebook version, the first time, and loved it, got a lot out of it, but I'm more of a physical book person. I like to underline things and scribble notes and things like that so that I can go back through and hit the highlights. And as soon as I read that ebook, I ordered this copy, and then I have not had time to go back and get past very much of it. So I am going to start with that one. And at the end of the podcast, I'll kind of go a little more in depth about that. But I hope that y'all go find my Patreon page. It's Life in DNA with Amanda Renee, and join me on there, because I think that's going to be fun. I think it'd be fun to do with a group of wives and kind of see what everybody thinks. Now, with both authors, I don't always 100% agree with everything that they say, but I'm a big believer in, not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So I've gotten a lot of good things out of both of those books. So, and I'll tell you about the second one at the end of the video. But yeah, so I hope you join me over there for that one. And if you have any high schoolers or even junior high kids, if they read ahead, I hope you join my daughter and I for the one we have for the high school literature. Now, last week I told you about a couple of planners that I have used in the past and that I liked. And this year, between medical stuff, getting new puppies, and traveling, I just did not need to spend the money on a planner. I have learned over the years kind of what pages I will use and what I don't really use when I buy a planner. And so I'm happy that I found these two on Amazon. But honestly, I was looking when the kids and I went shopping for school supplies. I was looking, and Walmart has a couple of options and probably had more to offer when they very first put the school stuff out. I know a lot of the good stuff goes fast. So next year, as soon as they put the school stuff out, I might actually kind of thumb through a couple of their options, and I might just end up picking one up at Walmart. But I had already ordered these, and so I stuck with these. The first one I'll show you is the one I got for my daughter. It's just simply so that she knows what she's going to be doing every day of the week. And I usually set this up weekly, Sunday nights or sometimes Monday morning, depending on what my schedule's like. But hers is that she picked that cover. I thought that was pretty. It has a little ruler bookmark so that she can know which week she's on, with a look ahead calendar there. Hers came with some sheets that has like tips for doing your best on an exam, internet safety, let's see, English parts of speech, common contractions, commonly misspelled words. So it had a lot of little things up at the front, U.S. capitals and abbreviations. Let's see, a little map of the United States and the time zones. What else did it have in here? It even had like a world map. And let's see. And I will try to post a link to this in the show notes. I think I know how to do that. I will try. It also had a little bit of mathematics, angles, polygons, things like that. Customary measurements and science. Oh wow. It even has stuff about the solar system, the periodic table, and a breakdown of a cell and a skeleton. Wow, that's nice. Alright, a basic schedule for first and second semester. I do usually kind of like to write that in. I know I mentioned that last time. We never know in life what's gonna happen. So, if anything happened to me, or if anything happened where somebody needs to look ahead and know what's coming up, they can do that. And then a 4-month calendar, so you can kind of write down what your goals and stuff are, and it goes through all the months all the way to July of 2025, which is another reason that I chose the 2 planners that I did. I needed one that went from August to July, and a lot of the other ones go from July to June, and because we homeschool year round, we typically end up starting in August and ending in July. So then it just starts your going week by week. And I liked this because I can put the subjects down this way. And then, so all she has to do is look at Monday, and everything for Monday will be written in there. And then if there's anything big coming up on the weekend, I can remind her of that there. And it just goes through like that to the end of July. And then it had well, it was supposed to go to July. Does it not? Oh no. It was supposed to. Oh, I guess I'll have to check that because that was saying June. But anyway, it came with a bunch of stickers and things too, which is always fun. I love stickers. I don't always remember to use them, but I like them. Huh. Well, I'm gonna have to look into that because I really thought it said it went to July. So anyway, I'll have to look into that. And again, let's see, I don't know if I mentioned what company. Global Date Books is who made it. And like I said, I will try to put a link into both of these. Mine, I picked was from the same company. It's the exact same company, and there's mine. And it came with a little clip-in ruler too. I usually use that so that I know exactly where I'm going with that. And, you know, the title page. A bunch of stuff I'm not going to use because I'm not in public school and I don't need, you know, emergency procedures and things like that. A student list. I have a total of 2 students. Communication log. I usually use stuff like that for like planning out when I'm going to buy the curriculum for the next year, kind of writing down what I need. Now let's see, mine does go through July, so I'm gonna have to look into that on hers. I don't know why hers didn't, because it said it was supposed to. And then it has all the months, and you can kind of plan ahead what you're gonna do. It had the big calendar in the front also. And then breakdown by the semester for your schedule for all the weeks you got to do. Then it has like seating chart and grid pages, but I usually use that for, like I said, planning for the next year, note taking, things like that. Student log checklist if I have anything I need to keep track of for the kids, like possibly a reading log for my daughter. Well, technically, and my son too. He's 5th grade. He's gonna have to start buckling down on reading books outside of class. So then every month you've got a little blank page. I don't know if you can see. There's dots on that page. And then like a little notes and checklist for the month. And then the big calendar, which you can write in important things coming up. And then again, it's a vertical layout. I personally love that because I like having my subjects on the side and just having everything line up. Then I can fold it in half and I don't have to have the whole thing open. Like I said, the one I used last year was a horizontal layout, and so it had the subjects across the top and the days of the week down, so I had to have the whole thing open and look across, which wasn't what I was used to, so I didn't particularly care for that. So I was picky in planning this year's planner, and I like that this one's colorful too, like the Erin Condren. The colors change every month. Even the days of the week are different colors up top, which is cute and nice. I like that. I kind of have a stigmatism, so anything varied in color kind of helps me realize that it's separate. And it had note pages in the back and functional stickers as well. See that say, don't forget, no school, important. Staff meeting. My staff meeting will be for my church job, not for school. Also, cute little stars. So I told my son, well, now when you do get on a test, I can put a little star on your paper. There's also a sheet protector back here, and it has multiple sheets of functional stickers. And then there is a double-sided pocket in the back. And the academic calendar. So I'm excited about using this one. I guess I'll have to look into my daughter's and I might have to exchange that one and let her pick something else out, because I know for a fact we'll go through school for part of July, and so we're gonna need something there. So anyway, that is what I chose to use this year. I'm excited about that. Next week, I am planning on starting to get everything organized for the school year. I always make myself a binder for each student, and a teacher binder for each student, and then a student binder for each student. A lot of the master books will have little helps for the kids, so each kid gets a binder with a tab for every subject they're going to do. I try to get the, and I'll show you all of this next week, but I try to get the ones that have little pocket, so the tab is actually a folder on both front and back, so the kids can put tests, quizzes, things like that in there too. And so some of the classes have little helps, like math, it'll have, formulas, or just depending on what the class is, it'll have different things that the kids can look back, like a reference guide. So sometimes I'll pull that out and put that in there so they can find it quickly. I know the grammar does that. Last year I left it in the back of the book though for my son, because he doesn't always remember to get his binder out. And just anything important like that. Some of the stuff gets laminated, which is always fun. And yeah, so the students get something like that, but it's mostly for them to later put in, special projects that they did, reports they had to write, tests and quizzes. It's a place to keep all of that, because before I start any of that next week, I will take all of the stuff out of theirs and mine, and anything that needs to be kept will go in the box with their books and go out to the shed until I can go through all of that someday. And then for mine, I put all of the schedule for each subject, the answer keys, the tests and quizzes that I'll have to hand out. I put all of that. But I will go over all of that next week and physically show you, if you watch on YouTube, what I do, and I will talk you through it if you just listen to the podcast. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. That is always it's like Christmas for me. I know I'm weird, but I do know there are a lot of other homeschool moms kind of like that. I love getting to write in my planner for the first time and plan out the week, and I like getting to see all of the books and see what they're going to be doing and what they're going to be learning and getting it all organized. And I love the beginning of the school year. Almost as fun as box day when you get to see the new books for the first time. Yeah, I love doing all of that. So yeah, I was going to tell you about more in depth about the books that I want to do for the Studious Wives book club. And I'm really excited about this. I love going back through these books. I have, if you've listened to my podcast in the past, you know that a few years ago I had found out that my mother is a narcissist, covert malignant narcissist to be exact. And she is a preacher, and if you're listening to the podcast, I'm doing some serious air quotes there because I don't know, she considers herself that. And I was in her church for a number of years because I didn't know that she was narcissistic. But anyway, so because of that, and because she has used God and her, quote, relationship with God, to manipulate myself, my sisters, anyone that will listen to her. Um, it's it's kind of affected, not necessarily my relationship with God, but I've kind of kept God at arm's length a little. And so I've just felt the need to, go back. I need a refresher. I need a gentle way of getting back close to Him. And I always love doing, reading these books and trying to be a better wife. And I believe being a better wife makes you a better mother to your kids, to be a good example. And so those are the ones I'm choosing to do first in this. And so, yeah, that's kind of where I want to start. But the The Empowered Wife by Laura Doyle, she may have a workbook that goes with it. I don't think I got that. But I think we're going to do, I think I looked ahead. We can usually do like 3 chapters a week. So then we would discuss 6 chapters if we do it every 2 weeks. And I will, take lots of notes. I will post on the Patreon page questions and comments, and I encourage you to do that too if you join me with this. I just think it'd be fun. It's to get more feedback and go deeper, I believe, when you can do it with other people. But the back of the book, just so you kind of know what it's about if you haven't heard of it. It said Laura Doyle's marriage was in trouble. Sorry, mine personally, I don't believe is in trouble, but I just always like going back over these books because they help me personally. But anyway, Laura Doyle's marriage was in trouble and couples counseling wasn't helping. On the brink of divorce, she decided to talk to women who'd been happily married for over a decade, and their advice stunned her. From it, she distilled 6 intimacy skills, that's trademarked, by the way, women-centric practices that ended her overwhelming frustration and resentment, restoring the playfulness and passion in her marriage. Now an internationally recognized relationship expert, Doyle has shared her secrets with women around the globe, saving thousands of marriages with her fresh, revolutionary approach. Practical and counterintuitive, the 6 intimacy skills are about focusing on your own desires and transforming your own life, not bending over backward to change your husband. Incorporating these skills will empower you to attract his attention like a magnet when you relax more and do less. Receive affection not because you told him to make more of an effort, but because he naturally seeks you out. Feel more like yourself and like yourself more. With humor and heart, The Empowered Wife shows you how to improve your relationship in ways you hadn't thought possible. You'll join a worldwide community of over 150,000 empowered wives who finally have their marriages they dreamed when they said, I do. And I do, like I said before, some of the stuff in the book I don't 100% agree with, and you can find out what that is if you follow along with me and go along with it. There are some things that I still remember to this day from the first time reading the ebook. One thing I know she says on there is to stay on your own page, and I try to remember that. Growing up being held responsible for everyone else's actions, that particular thing is hard for me. I feel responsible for everyone else's actions, and so that's probably why it stuck with me, because it was something I really, really needed. So yeah, I hope you join me with that one. The one I want to do after that is the very first book that I had that helped me so much as a wife. It actually, and I probably read this probably when my daughter was little, or maybe before she was born. Definitely when she was little, so over a decade ago. And I will go back to this book, like I said, once or twice a year and read through it, because I always need reminded. And with the TV shows you watch, the things you listen to, it's very easy to get more of a modern mindset, and that's not always biblical. And so I always want to try to be as, biblical a wife as possible. That's not always easy, but I try. And this book always helps me and pulls me, back to reality with what God wants. And I have the old version, the one with all my notes in it. I have stuff underlined and written everywhere in this book because I always find something new. And then the one I'll probably actually go over is the 10th anniversary edition. It had, I think, a couple extra chapters in it. So this is the one I'm going to go with. They're actually fixing to have another revised edition, but I'm not going to get that new one. I think the things that they talk about is more of like a like sexuality and being confused about your sexuality, and it's just not something I have to read about right now. It's not an issue for me at the moment, so I'm gonna stick with this one. And I also have the Helpmeets journal, and so I may go through that too if you want to grab that when we get to that book. And again, if you have ever heard of them, but this one is created to be his helpmeet by Debbie Pearl. And if you have ever read this or know anything about the Pearls, there is some controversy with some of their, beliefs. They have very biblical beliefs, and so some people in the modern world have trouble with them. But like I said, there are some things in the book, and you'll see if you go through it with me, that I don't necessarily agree with, or 100% don't have the biblical maturity to understand completely. And so I just kind of go by what, I believe is right there. But I always kind of keep it in mind. Nothing they say is like outrageous. They don't agree with, people abusing you and things like that. So yeah, but this book has helped me so much. She also has, I think, a few chapters in here, just about the different types of men. Under wisdom to understand her man is chapter 8. And then she kind of breaks men down. Not that anybody breaks down into one category, but there's basically 3 types of men, and everybody's got a little bit of all of them, but your man would probably be more one than the other. And she breaks that down. That actually helped me understand a lot more about my husband. Another thing this book really helped me to do, and I could see where God started planting seeds for me to have my eyes opened about my mother. Even back when I started reading this book, a lot of the things I underlined and the notes that I took was because the things she was saying not to do as a wife, I was like, oh my gosh, my mom used to do that. You're talking about my mother, and that was the example she set for us. And so I had a lot of wrong ways of thinking about men when I came into my marriage. I had a lot of wrong ways of thinking about just marriage and relationships in general when I came into it. And so this book really helped me to, okay, so it's okay, men are like this. And my mom just had a very warped sense of how things should be and how people should be. And so you'll see if you go through it with me. But this is the one I want to do second after the Empowered Wife. I figured we'll start out a little lighter with the Empowered Wife, even though it's really good and she goes into a lot of great things. The Created to Be His Helpmeet is just kind of more of a heavy hitter, so I'm going to save it for 2nd, and then we'll figure out where we go from there. But yeah, so I hope you join me. I'm going to get all that set up on my Patreon page, and I would really like to start doing that probably starting next week. The rest of this week is insane for me, but next week should be a little slower, and hopefully I can make the time to read. I am also hoping that by doing this and having y'all along with me, I will stick with reading these and getting in depth, and yeah, so I'm excited for that. So I hope you enjoyed today's podcast and video, and I hope you join me next week. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if you're listening on the podcast, please go down and write a review if you enjoyed it. And next week I will be going over my homeschool setup, and I will see you then. Bye.